Birds of a feather and angled tail. There were two neighbors living on a plot of land in the Australian outback. Col No and her ancestors had lived on the land for thousands of years. Her new neighbor, Binesi, had recently moved from a land where his own ancestors had lived for thousands of years. Most days they lived on their land without conflict. Col No passed the day by tending her garden or cleaning the home that her grandfather built. Binesi spent his time exploring around the land and tending a garden of his own. They would share occasional smiles and one would give the other water if needed. Col No didn't mind Binesi living on her ancestral land because he was more respectful than others that passed through. Even though she didn't understand, he asked for permission before he built his shack in the beginning. She was getting to seeing him on the land. At night, even though they didn't speak the same language, Binesi would build a modest fire and they would sit and stare at the sky. His first summer in Australia, he made the mistake of making a fire that was too hot and too large. Being from Minnesota, he failed to notice that January was when they had their hottest day of the year. Col No ran from her home and doused the fire with water she had been saving for a week. She yelled at Binesi in Dalabon, her first language, but he could only understand English or Anishinaabe, his first language. While the embers of the flame were smoking and Col No was pinching her sweating eyebrows, a brown falcon swooped down in the night and grabbed a hot stick. The firebirds, Col No said in Dalabon as she pointed to the falcon. It dropped the burning stick into dry grass and a bushfire started. The falcon dove and caught whatever prey scuttled out from the blaze. Binesi saw the fire in the distance grow, and he looked at Col No like a sheep. "I can fix this," he said in English. "We have birds of our own back home." He began humming an ancient song to himself that he remembered from his grandparents. The sky cracked open and the clouds started to fall. A storm had come out of nowhere, and in the middle, there was a great eagle larger than any regular bird. He was a thunderbird. "There you are, friend," Binesi laughed as he ushered Col No into his own shack to keep dry. No, she managed in English. "That won't help." A screech resounded above their plot of land. Binesi looked out and saw that the brown falcon had become as large as the thunderbird. They danced in the air and the sky around them alternated between storm clouds and clear night sky. The firebird's wings fanned the flames below and the thunderbird doused them. "Great thunderbird, majestic firebird. Stop fighting, please," Binesi cried as he and Col No ran out into the storm. The flight of the spirits above was shaking their land, and they were afraid both of their houses would fall. Col No took Binesi's hand and held tight. So they weren't separated in the quake. As Thunderbird clapped his wings, a streak of lightning hit the earth and lit Binesi's shack on fire. They stopped fighting. Thunderbird looked down at his accident and started to douse the flames of his own making. Firebird swooped down and snatched easy prey. He took the small animals up to Thunderbird and they both shared a feast in the middle of the air. They landed in front of Binesi and Col No. The birds started to weep as they saw the destruction that their fighting wrought. The plot of land the humans resided on was burnt and their gardens were turned to ash. "I only wanted to keep the fire small to get food," Firebird said in Dalabon, but Binesi understood. "I only wanted to stop the spread of the fire, not cause damage to you," Thunderbird said in Anishinaabe, but Col No understood. The two spirits blessed the land of the humans so that the day would be bright for Binesi to rebuild his shack, and the night would bring rain for their gardens. Firebird promised to keep the bushfires to a minimum and Thunderbird promised to watch where his lightning went. After 2 weeks, Binesi gave up on rebuilding his shack and chose to move into the home of Col No. They lived in peace under the bird spirits until their deaths. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, or subscribe if you liked the video.